damn hot. And she's really, really nice. So she's pretty much guest starred in every single one of my favourite shows, but you probably know her for her role in Firefly, Serenity, and Stargate Atlantis. Tauranga, put your hands together, make her feel welcome onto the stage, the lovely Staite!
You're on time, I love you already.
I try. Hi, you guys. Hi. Woo-hoo. This is so exciting. My body has no idea what time it is. Awesome. I'm just gonna sit here like this and get comfortable, if that's okay.
For sure. So, remember, if you have a question, come on down to the microphone.
Oh, you guys have to come all the way down to the microphone?
Yeah.
That sucks. Have fun with that. It's a lot of stairs.
Here we go, our first question.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, with your role as Kaylee, were there any stories that you really hoped to have explored in the show if it had continued?
Can we turn her mic up or
can you just
turn the
speak
party
closer to the
down?
mic?
Yeah, go closer to the mic.
So everyone,
we'll
when you
get
come down to ask a
now.
question, just hold the mic like right into your mouth, okay?
Get intimate with the microphone.
Yeah, just make fun.
I know it's early, but
So I was just wondering, for your role as Kaylee, if there were any stories you would have liked to have explored further had the show continued?
about 10 years worth only. Maybe 12. Yeah, tons. I feel like, hello. I feel like that show is just getting started, which makes it that bittersweet, role that I had in my life that I never really got to live out properly, in my opinion. The first storyline being meeting her family and seeing where she came from. I wanted to see that with every character on that show, though. There was just too much story to tell. It's sad. It was before its time. Ahead of its time? I don't know. See? I don't know what time it is. Clearly. Thank you. All of my answers are going to be like that rambling nonsense. Thanks so much for coming.
Hey, remember guys, if you don't come out and ask Jill questions, I'm going to have to sit on the couch and turn it into an interview, and nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
Well, I do, but that's just me.
I don't mind. I mean, wait, is that a Kaylee?
Okay. So,
Get
how
comfortable.
does one plan an orgy in a small town?
With great difficulty. The whole thing is I didn't know how. That's why we kept screwing it up. That's a great question.
Please put context
Do
on it
you have a
before I get
question? Pertaining to orgies? I don't know. You people are wild. This is quite a start.
It's a movie.
New
She
Zealand.
started. Just remember.
It's a movie. It's a romantic comedy. I know it doesn't sound that way, but that's all it is. I promise.
Thanks, Jill, for coming such a long way, by the way.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I've got family in the States that actually got me on to Firefly.
Sweet.
Across the oceans now. With your character as Kaylee, as the program developed, did you find Joss Whedon actually put a little bit of your personality into your character offset, or did you have to actually...
No. Joss is a very specific writer. He has a specific plan for every character that he writes. He doesn't just wing it and see what happens, which I really appreciate, actually. I appreciate that about him as a director, too, because he knows exactly what he wants. And he knows exactly how to explain to you what he wants as well, which is a nice thing for an actor. But yeah, with the exception of Alan, we were all very different from our characters. But he is Wash, basically. He is. Not kidding. Hi.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to New Zealand.
Thank you.
Having obviously quite a few of us quite starstruck to come up here and maybe ask you a question.
Well, you don't have to be.
So yeah, here's a question for you. As a Hollywood, actress, do you ever see other stars and do you get starstruck yourself? And maybe got an embarrassing story about a time you have?
I had lots of embarrassing stories. I'm a complete idiot. I'm a huge foodie, and the celebrities, the stars that I get silly around are chefs. Yeah, and I've had the fortune of meeting some of my chef heroes, and lost the ability to form an intelligent sentence. So I totally get it. I mean, I think we're all fans of something.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I understand that weird moment where you're like, is this real? How is this happening?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know who Mario Batali is? Okay, so I will worship him as a chef, and I was in New Orleans at a convention in January, and we were at a jazz bar at like 1 a.m, and there was this man on the dance floor, and the dance floor was relatively empty, and he looked just like Mario Batali. Like, Mario Batali has a distinctive look. He's got, like red hair, always in a ponytail, and he wears his famous orange Crocs. That's just sort of his thing. So here's this guy on the dance floor wearing these orange Crocs, and I'm like, that's so bizarre. Why would you come to a jazz bar dressed as Mario Batali? Like, it didn't really process for me, and then I realized it was him, and I didn't know what to do. All I knew was that I needed to get closer to him physically. So I just gravitated towards him onto this dance floor and just kind of stood beside him like this, just kind of dancing. I don't know what I was doing. It was horrible. It was like an out-of-body experience. And my husband was like, he probably felt sorry for me and was like, this poor girl, and walked up to him and tapped him on the shoulder and said, my crazy wife here really loves you and would love to get a picture with you. And he was like, oh my God, totally, of course. He couldn't have been nicer. And he put his arm around me, and we have this picture, framed of course, in our dining room, of Mario Batali smiling and pointing at me, and me just beaming with joy. And I was like, that was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And my husband was like, thanks, babe. So I get it. I totally get it.
Awesome. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
To your left.
Oh, there's another one.
What's the life?
Hi.
What's the life of being an actor?
What's the life of being an actor? It's weird. It's unpredictable. It has lots of highs and lots of lows. There's a lot of boredom involved. Once you get to a set, it's not all glamour, go, go, go. You usually get there, they get you ready, and then you wait. You wait for a few hours, you have a nap, you eat too much food, because the food is free. That's one of the perks. But if it's something that you're really passionate about, which I am, it's very addictive. The best way of describing it is it's a high. And when I'm not working and I, decide to take a break, I have a little boy at home, and I very much like to spend as much time as possible with him. So when I do take a little break between jobs, I crave it. I really do. I need to get back to work and just sort of, it's like a release in a way. So you really have to love it. That's basically what I'm saying. You're gonna be a doctor though, right? No? Do you want to be an actor? No. What do you want to do?
Marine biologist.
You're way smarter than me. I don't even know if I could play a marine biologist. Hi.
Hey, nice to meet you. That's my marine biologist son going up there.
Amazing. You're set for life. It's awesome.
I hope. But my daughter would love to be an actress. Can you give any advice to those who are at primary school looking to get into acting later in life? What should they be looking towards?
It's mostly experience and surrounding yourself with people who have the best intentions in helping you out, meaning a really great agent, a really great manager. And then once you do start working, I think this business is all about reputation. Kindness is very important. Being on time, being appreciative can go a long way. I started in the business when I was 5. It's all I've ever done as a job. I don't have any other special skills, this is it, so it's a good thing I succeeded somewhat at it. But one of the things that I was taught the most as a child was just because you're the one in front of the camera doesn't make you any more important than anybody else on that set. Without the crew turning the gears, you're nothing. You know what I mean? And you spend a lot of time with a crew. It's sort of a thing where they become your family in a way. When you spend 12 plus hours with a group of people every day, you become attached. And that to me is what's special about it, especially when you're doing series work that goes on for months and months and months. You form these relationships with these people who are highly skilled and amazing at what they do. And without them, we wouldn't have such great film and television out there. That was long-winded. I apologize. That happens. Hi.
Hi. I'm freaking out a little, sorry.
That's okay. This is the venue. It's all right.
Do you miss Stargate, and do you keep in touch with any of the cast and crew still?
My convention booker, I guess you could call her, convention agent, Jason Momoa has the same one. So a lot of the time we get booked at the same events. So I love him, but I see him whether I want to or not. He's always around, basically, eating my food and doing whatever, making a mess. Like I said before, you know, when you spend a lot of time with people, you just get very close. And we all got really tight on that show. And it was also an extremely positive experience. I always say that if that show had gotten picked up year after year, I just would have kept saying yes, because it was just so comfortable. It's shot in Vancouver, which is where I'm from, so I got to sleep in my own bed every night, which is amazing. That never happens in this business. You're always in a hotel. It was a dream job in a lot of ways, and I miss it all the time. It's hard because once you have a really good one like that, you can't help but compare all the other jobs that happen after that to that one. It's ruined me. Thank you. I'm kind of afraid of what you're gonna ask. Like that first question you asked, it's just sort of, I'm intrigued but afraid. Hi.
What are your first thoughts on New Zealand?
I've been to New Zealand before, a long time ago. I feel like 10 years ago or something. And I'm not just saying this, the people here are so nice. Like, we walked around everywhere yesterday. We got here at the crack of dawn, right? So we had like a whole day to stay awake. We were like, stay awake, stay awake. And we did a bunch of exploring, and everybody we met was super welcoming and super sweet. And the food is really good too. So we're excited. We have almost 2 weeks here to explore, and I'm really happy about it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, in that vein, you have been here before, so
Yes.
now that it's your second trip, what are you looking most forward to doing again, or seeing again, or eating again?
The last time I was here, I was in Wellington, and I was only here for a few days, because it was one of these trips where there was a convention in Australia, so I did one there, and then I came over here and did one, and then I had to go home, back to Stargate, actually. I was doing Stargate. So I didn't get to really do much. And that's the unfortunate thing when we do these conventions, is most of the time they fly you in, you see the convention center, which could be anywhere, and maybe you get a nice bite to eat at night, and that's it, and then you go home. So we have 5 days in between this convention and the one in Wellington to explore and do all kinds of fun stuff. And the organizers of this event have been really kind in planning an insane itinerary for us of sightseeing and things to do. So it's gonna be basically non-stop, and I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be fun. I feel like I'm gonna finally get my fill and experience of New Zealand properly.
Well, if you do get a chance to try hangi,
Is it?
hangi, H-A-N-G-I.
H-A-N-G-I, what is it?
It's a multi-traditional way of cooking. You dig a big hole in the ground.
Okay.
It sounds weird when you say it out loud, eh? Yeah. Set a fire.
Okay.
Put a whole lot of rocks on the fire, on the embers, so they heat up.
Yes.
And then you wrap all your food up in wet sacks. And, well, obviously you put tin foil between the sacks and the food. And it steams the food, and you get this smoky taste from the wood. And it's probably the best cuisine in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah. Not only in taste, but in quantity.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you get a chance, definitely get some hangi.
All right, I will. I'll put it on my list. Hi.
Hi.
kind of starstruck right now. Like,
Oh, I'm not that famous.
this isn't really a question about like Stargate or even New Zealand, but how do you spell grey?
How do I spell gray? Grey?
Okay. Because most Americans that I've met spell it Gray.
I'm Canadian.
Canadian.
Who's Canadian now?
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I haven't met many Canadians, so don't really know their accent.
I was born and raised in British Columbia, and I live there now because it's the best, and that's where we want to raise our children.
Well, I was born and raised in Tauranga, and it's the best. So
Yes.
I'm gonna raise
That's
my
good.
kids
You
here.
should be loyal. You should be loyal to your birthplace. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very quick question.
Hi.
The dress that Kaylee got to rock at Shindig, your taste or not?
No. No. You know, I was excited for 5 minutes because it was something different. Because I had to wear the same thing every day. So I was excited. I was always very jealous of Morena and her wardrobe because she was in these beautiful gowns all the time. But no. After a little while, anytime you have to pee, wearing a dress like that is extremely problematic. So I was really, really happy to see it gone. And I know that's a disappointing answer. I've been in crowds, and mostly in the US, in crowds where I get an "aww" from the audience, like they're that upset about it. Hi.
Jill, I'm
Oh, step away. Yeah.
gonna step away from the speakers.
Yeah.
Question about the mainstreaming of science fiction. You've been in a lot of shows that are science fiction.
Mate, hold the microphone up to your mouth.
How many roles do you get which are not science fiction?
Quite a bit.
We just don't see them here.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny because a lot of people assume that I've done predominantly sci-fi, but it's actually the opposite. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and most of the stuff I've done hasn't been sci-fi. It's just, it all depends on the crowd you're in. You know what I mean? And Firefly and Stargate as well have longevity to them, especially throughout the years. It's a very funny thing where the fandom seems to keep growing, which I can't explain. It's amazing. But yeah, I've done a lot of other things, a lot of other work, but it's been a while since I've done any sci-fi actually. It's been quite a few years, so I'm excited to go back to it. I'm just trying to find the right fit though. It's a good question. Hi.
Hi. I'm just wondering what the difference is between working on like normal shows versus sci-fi, and what's your favorite part of working on sci-fi on TV?
It's obviously a more fantastical type of genre, so the stories are further fetched and definitely put you in different scenarios than a regular show would. But for me, it's usually just about the characters. I think as an actor, your job is to make that character, whatever scenario they're in, hello, goodbye, whatever scenario they're in, as believable as possible. And sometimes that can be a little tougher in sci-fi. A lot of the time we're in front of green screens with nothing around us, nothing behind us, and have to really figure out a way to make it as believable as possible that we're reacting to something. So it's a bit of an exercise, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, who doesn't want to hang out in a spaceship all day? It's pretty sweet. I think you're up.
Right side, go.
Hi.
Hi, morning.
Is it morning? It's good to know.
I didn't see the sun either, so. Throughout your career, what was your favorite role? And if, let's say in the future, what is your dream role to portray as? It doesn't have to be sci-fi, right?
I don't really have a favorite per se. I think as an actor, if you spend a fair amount of time on a role, especially, you can't help but feel a little bit territorial.
Yeah.
And attached to them and protective of them in some weird way.
Was it kind of like your comfort
what's
zone?
that?
Was it kind of like your comfort zone in that time?
A little bit, but you know, there's experiences attached to everything, right?
Yeah.
So what you see on the screen isn't what I experienced, and sometimes a role in something that, you know, wasn't super great and, you know, wasn't well reviewed can sometimes be a really incredible experience for me as a person, where we were shooting, who I was hanging out with, or what city we were, whatever, adds to it so much. So it's hard for me and impossible for me to pick a favorite per se. In the future, what do I want to do? I really love doing TV. I mean, that's sort of the home that I'm looking for now. I enjoy working with the same people all the time. I like the length of a TV show as opposed to just a movie. A lot of actors like to just keep moving on, but I don't. I'm a creature of habit, and I really like series work for that reason. But mostly, the subject matter aside, it's basically just about the outside elements that is going to make me say yes to a job, meaning is it the right fit for my family? It's not just me anymore, so I caravan my family with me if I need to go somewhere to shoot, because I don't want to be away from my son. So it's all circumstantial now, which is a weird thing. It's just completely turned on its head, and I used to have fun kind of going off to various places and doing crazy things, but now it's just all about him. So it's changed my my priorities quite a bit.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Along a similar sort of vein, is there any show that is currently airing that you'd love to be on?
Yes. Game of Thrones. Westworld. I love. Have you guys gotten Westworld here?
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like a guilty pleasure show. It's so good. Yeah, I mean, there's so much good story out there. The Crown. The Crown is a huge one for me. I'm kind of obsessed with the royal family. I don't know why. It runs in my own family. My grandmother was obsessed, so I just sort of grew up being completely obsessed with them too. So I ate up the Crown. It was just so my thing. So I'd love to do something like that, but I might as well get in line, I guess. I think the line's rather lengthy to get on those shows. Hi.
Hi. Last time you were here was actually 2006. Were you here last time? Yeah. Sorry.
Just lean into the mic.
Oh yeah. 2006 was the last time you were here.
Okay.
Dude,
Get real close to the mic.
Okay. I'm
Closer.
going to
Kiss
Canada
it.
soon.
Kiss it.
You're going to Canada soon?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want to know where you could get some good poutine.
Poutine?
Poutine.
So poutine is like, do you guys know what poutine is? How do you all know what poutine is? That's so weird. It's the best thing in the world. Montreal is where you go. I mean, that's where it originated, and that's where you're going to get the very best poutine. So if you can choose, go to Montreal and eat your heart out, and hopefully stay alive, because it's not exactly good for your heart. It's fries and gravy with cheese on it.
We just call
But
that lunch.
you'll have fun. Like, it's a good way to go.
Hi.
Hi.
Unless you feel uncomfortable in some sort of way, could you talk a little bit about Ron Glass?
I don't feel uncomfortable. I have nothing but amazing memories of Ron. And one of my favorite things about Ron was how different, well, he had a lot of differences to Shepherd Book, meaning he had a very sly, very sick sense of humor. It was very easy to make him laugh. He was extremely honest to a fault. You knew exactly how Ron felt. You go out to dinner, everyone's like, oh, it's so good, it's so good. And you tell the waiter, it's not that great, I've had better. Which I love. Like, I just would, howl with laughter hanging around him all the time. But the similarities that he did have with Shepherd Book were that he was an extremely thoughtful, spiritual, intelligent, and accepting person. He just seemed to accept everybody for the way they were. And I loved that about him. He had a wiseness to him that I envy. And he had so many years of experience behind him in the business that I really hope that one day I can feel as peaceful with myself as he did with himself. He was an extraordinary person, and we all miss him dearly, dearly, dearly. Hi. You must be very warm.
A little bit.
Yes, that's commitment. I recognize it and I admire it.
Thank you. Out of curiosity, how much of the mechanical side of Serenity did you actually need to know? And how much of it was just made up on the
Oh
spot?
my god, honey, it was a spaceship, it wasn't real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the beauty of it, was that I could literally look like the master at what I was doing because it was total bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's also another beautiful thing about sci-fi, is that, you know, you are in this fantastical, magical place that doesn't exist. So you can really just go for it and never be wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
you know, when I was playing a doctor, I had to be right. And they had a consultant on set to make sure I looked like I knew what I was doing. So you add on, you know, all of this dialogue that I'm supposed to rattle off, and marks I have to hit, and everything else that I have to remember. And then there are, you know, special doctor skills that I need to know as well on the fly and know what I'm doing. And it's crazy stressful. So when you're playing something like a mechanic on a fictional spaceship, it's just like, I got this. It was great. We had a props master, Skip, our props master, would come in with a box of stuff, of props, of tools, and he'd say, pick one. And he'd made them all up, you know? They were all just knick-knacky sort of things that he'd made in his shop. And it was really fun. It was cool.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy New Zealand.
Thank you very much. I'm sure I will. Hi.
Hi. Every TV episode lasts about, 45 minutes to an hour. I was wondering how long, the longest time that you've ever spent making one episode.
That's a great question. It's usually about 7 working days, and we get weekends off. So it averages about 10 days per episode. Sometimes near the end of a season, if we're running out of time, something has happened and, you know, an episode has been delayed by a few days or whatnot, they have a second unit going, an entirely second crew shooting another episode at the same time as the one that we're shooting. And that's when it gets a little hairy, because they're switching you out of wardrobe and putting you in the wardrobe for this episode, and then you change your clothes and you're rattling off lines from different storylines, and it can get very confusing. But that's usually not until the very end of the season. Thank you. I've never been asked that. I'm shocked.
Welcome once again to New Zealand.
Hi.
Hi, I've been watching your progress on Facebook to get here, and I'm at my sister's house going, oh my god, she's almost here. Oh my god, she's in New Zealand. Oh my god, she's landed. So, I just wanted to ask, do you have a favourite memory of Ron that you had? I know that in one of the booklets that they've released for the Firefly crates, you were going on about how he spilled something gin on your pants and said they weren't all that nice anyway.
God. Yeah.
But do you have any other really
I
funny
have many.
memories?
I'm just trying to think of ones I can repeat. I've done a lot of conventions with Ron. You know, I've kind of been around the world with Ron. We get to, you know, drinking martinis and God knows what happens. He's so funny. We were at a convention called Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's huge. It's a massive, massive convention. And I was with a friend whose birthday it was. And these brown coats fans came over and said, we're having this big party and we're going to have a cake for Matt because it's his birthday and we'd love for you guys to come and we'll sing him happy birthday and da-da-da. And we said, yeah, sure. So we went out to their, you know, they've had this big hotel room suite rented out in the convention center. It was in a hotel, and we went up to this thing, and Ron's had a couple martinis. And we get up there and walk in, and I guess one of their friends had the same birthday, Josh, you know. It's like, oh, they're here. They bring out the cake with the candles. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Matt and Josh. happy birthday to you, yay, and everybody claps, and then there's this lull, and Ron goes, okay, let's sing it one more time, because I don't know who the hell Josh is. And everyone was like just shocked. Like, he was just so not, he just had no filter. And I loved that about him, because you just really never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. And it was usually the best.
Thank you.
So my question is Brian Fuller or Joss Whedon?
Oh, that's impossible. Brian Fuller or Joss Whedon. That's like fried chicken or cheeseburgers. They're both equally delicious. And similar in a lot of ways. I love the way that they flesh out characters. There are few writers that can do that to that level, and I adore both of them, and would say yes to working with either again. Hi.
How's it going? Because of your experience with... Yeah, please.
It moves.
Portraying the character with Kaylee, and of course Dr. Kello has allowed you to go around the world exposed such as this. I was wondering if you could tell us some of your more awesome fan experiences because of those characters.
Say it one more time, I couldn't hear. I'm so sorry.
Right,
I'm so sorry.
Okay, because of your characters, you're able to travel around the world.
Yes.
What?
There you go. Better.
What has been some of your favourite fan experiences from travelling around and meeting so many different people?
Well, I've had a lot of fan experiences. I've done so many, I think it's been 10 plus years of doing conventions as well, right? So many. I mean, my favorite experiences are when people don't believe I am who I am. That's the best. I've been in an elevator where someone said, has anybody ever told you you look like Jules Staite? And the people I'm with burst out laughing, and then he goes, no, it's a compliment. Those are the best for me. I was talking to somebody, I don't know, somebody on a plane or whatever, and they said, they were talking about Firefly and how much they loved Firefly, and I said, I was in Firefly. And they were like, you were? I said, yeah, I was the mechanic. And he said, no. I assure you I was. That stuff kills me more than anything. It always makes me laugh. It happens a lot. It's weird.
Hello again.
Hi.
Hi. Just wondering, a few years ago you did Supernatural. And I was just wondering, how it was working with the Supernatural team, and if it's different to Firefly, and also how you dealt with the intricacies of the costume, like the claws and things like that.
It was a lot of fun. That was one of the easiest jobs I've ever done. The reason why Supernatural has been on the air for approximately 1 million years is because the crew and the cast are so happy to be there. It's a very well-oiled machine. It's like everybody's reading each other's minds, so the shots and the cameras are set up in record time. And I've always believed that the vibe on a set trickles down from the top. So if the star is not such a nice person, it tends to trickle down in this weird way. And it's this weird negative vibe that's going on set where everyone's kind of, tiptoeing around and not very happy to be there. And it's unfortunate. But those two guys are two of the nicest human beings. They are so kind. It's unprecedented, and they've had so much success, and they're still exactly who they were. There's a warmth there, and you can feel that on set for sure. I had a friend who did a guest spot on the show as well, and she wanted a picture taken with them. And she said, do you guys mind? She was really embarrassed to ask, do you guys mind at the end of the day if I can get my picture taken with you? And they said, no, of course not. Yeah, absolutely. And by the time she had wrapped that day, they had wrapped a couple of hours earlier or something, and they were long gone. So she got back to the trailers and they were waiting for her. And they said, "Hey, you want that picture?" They're so sweet and so lovely. I was in a restaurant in Vancouver. I was with a friend of mine, and they were sitting at a table a few tables away. And she said, "Oh, aren't those guys on Supernatural? You did Supernatural." I said, "Yeah, I don't want to bug them. They're doing their own thing. They're having a meal." And I sat down, and I'm sitting with my friend, and they come over and they go, "Hi, did you not see us? We were here." Hi. And super friendly and super sweet and lovely, and that's just who they are. It's just a shame they're not better looking, but you can't have everything. You can't have everything in life. It's too bad. Thank you.
Hello. Welcome to Tauranga. Silly question. What would you be more afraid of, a Reaver or a Replicator?
Ooh. That's a really good question. It all depends on who I had fighting by my side.
Definitely not
Replicators are creepy, like super creepy. But Reavers are insane. That's really hard. I would say Replicator because I think they're harder to beat.
Thank you.
I feel good about that answer. Hi.
Hi there. One thing that is pretty common hearing from actors is how they tend to be pretty big pranksters behind the scenes. So I'm wondering if you've got any stories of you being pranked or pranking someone else.
I've never been the prankster, but I mean, that kind of stuff happens a lot because we're bored, right? Like I said, there's just so much waiting around that we just get bored and misbehave, and we all know that they're not really going to fire us, so we just do what we want. But I'm usually the one that pranks are pulled on the most. I'm pretty gullible. It's a weird thing about me. I just kind of believe what people tell me. I don't know why, but we didn't really have too many pranks on Stargate, but Firefly was basically non-stop. And it had to do with Nathan always and forever. That's just who he is. He's constantly trying to pull one over you. And even to this day, we had lunch with Nathan a couple weeks ago. Even to this day, he'll say crazy things to me just to see if I'll believe it. And I always do. And it pisses me off because I'm like, I can't believe I keep falling for this. He's sort of like an older brother in that way. In the best way.
Thank you, Jill.
But it's nonstop. Hi.
Jill, what was your favourite thing about working on Firefly? By the way, it was fantastic how you used to talk to the engines.
I agree.
I love that. You were like,
I love that
they're
part
organic.
about her too.
Yeah. Well,
It was sweet.
I didn't mean you, but you know what.
No, I get it. I understand.
Yes. What was your favourite thing?
My favorite thing about that show was the people, the relationships that I formed with those people. I don't know if it's because it was so short-lived and because we were the underdog, but we all became very, very close. And, it doesn't mean we agree on everything all the time, and, we're all very different from each other, but the beauty of that show was that the characters were all very different from each other, and they were stuck with each other. And because they were stuck with each other, they learned to love each other and to protect each other. And we love and protect each other too. And it's been these friendships that I've had for so long and are so strong. They're quite unbreakable. And for me, the thing I took away from it was my friendships with those people. They're practically family.
Well, you did an amazing job. We absolutely, all of us, love it. And everybody who's anybody who has an opinion worth having wants you to do another season. Or more. Or more.
At least 15 more.
Just saying.
I mean, I agree.
Hi.
Right? I wish I had the answer for you.
I was wondering what you would be doing if you weren't doing acting. Like, what would your job be?
It's a good question. Probably something to do with cooking. I love to cook almost as much as I love to eat. I think it would be fun to do some sort of cooking show or something like that. I have a passion for it. I don't know where it came from. I just have a passion for it. I'm one of those weirdos that reads cookbooks before bed instead of novels. I'm weird. I'm weird. But yeah, I would say if I wasn't doing this, that's what I would do. Maybe I can do both. Who knows? Thank you.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
The weirdest thing I've ever eaten? Oh God, probably. I mean, I've eaten lots of bugs. You know, like fried crickets and things like that. They're not that great. It's like soft shell crab. Snake. I wasn't wild about that. There are a few things that I don't like, and snake is one of them. It's just not my jam.
Good to know. Anyone else got any questions for Jules?
Good to know.
Yeah, go.
Of course you're allowed.
That scene with the dress,
Yes.
how was that dress? Was it like
it was
impossible to
awful.
put on?
Yes.
Yes.
It was a hoop. It was such a thing. I had 3 people getting me into it, and then I had to somehow leave the room. Leave
And it was
out
so
of my
not your
trailer
character.
door. No, it was very difficult. And you know what? What's funny is that when I see women cosplaying Kaylee in that dress around conventions, they all have the same look in their eye. And it's one of regret, and it's one of I have to pee.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So you know I wasn't stitching you up about the hunger yet. It's an actual thing.
No, I know. I believe you. I mean, it doesn't sound like that far-fetched.
Okay, just checking.
Okay.
So, apart from obviously your family and your work and cooking, as we've learned, what else inspires you? What else do you feel passionate about?
You know, I'm a pretty regular person. I'm passionate about my downtime. I know that sounds crazy, but when you're in this business, it's hard. It's a lot of work, and the hours you work are insane. And when I do have downtime, I'm extremely boring. I love to have friends over for dinner. I want to put my kid to bed at night. I just want to be a normal human being, and it's important to me. And I'm extra choosy because I know for my own sanity that I need that downtime in between jobs. Does that make sense?
Perfectly, yeah. So
Yeah.
Next time you come over,
I
bring the little
work
one.
to live. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Hi there.
Hi.
Aside from those 2 little shows that nobody's heard of, that everybody already always asks you about, what other show or role have you done that you wish people would ask you about or pay more attention to?
Well, I did a show called The LA Complex that hardly anybody saw. I think it's on iTunes. It's floating around somewhere. It was an extremely smart show, and a lot of fun to do. And I got to play this really delicious, crazy person, which is so much fun. I have a new show too. I've been doing a show called Blind Spot, which I don't know if you guys get here. Maybe you do. I don't know. And that was really fun too. Once again, I'm playing a crazy person. Basically, I just like to play crazy because it's fun. Playing a bad guy is a lot of fun. I don't know why that is. I guess maybe because you can go a little bit bigger and not be as subtle, and that's just fun. It's a nice release. Does that make sense?
Yes. I suppose if you're in a regular show rather than the fantasy ones, the roles can be a bit straight-edged.
Yeah,
so
a
you
little
gotta
bit.
play crazy to be interesting.
A little bit, yes. But the beauty of the LA Complex was that it was set in Hollywood, which means everybody's nuts. And she was just such a desperate person. She was just trying like heck to crawl her way up to the top, so to speak. And it was such a stretch of a character that it was really, really fun. It was super fun to play. She was always like way overdressed, you know, and like prancing around in high heels and pretending to be somebody even though she was nobody. And it was really a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So you started out when you were really young, but sorry if you hear this question all the time, but what advice would you give to someone who wants to start out a little bit later?
I mean, it's sort of like a thing where you got to pay your dues. You know, like you just kind of have to start from the bottom and work your way up. It's these people that haven't done anything and booked these huge shows overnight. That's the equivalent of winning the lottery. That doesn't happen. That's usually a thing that doesn't happen. And it's okay to pay your dues. That's sort of how you learn, you know? And it's nice to do smaller things at the beginning because you're still learning and you're still trying to figure it out. And the best part about this business as a career is that you never get perfect at it. You're always learning. You're always trying to figure out something new, and everything that you're depicting is something new. It's completely different than what you just depicted before. And maybe that's why I love it so much, because it's never a dull moment, you know what I mean? Unless you're waiting at craft service for the shot to be set up, eating too much.
What is Jane actually like? Is he really gun crazy and all like that? What's he really like as a person?
He's pretty crazy. I mean, he's not like a sort of like a gruff kind of character. He's actually very soft-spoken in person. He's huge. He's like 6'5", 6'6" or something. He's enormous. He loves a steak and a glass of red wine. One thing about Adam, I mean, he's very political. He's very political on the internet. I know lots of people get into political fights with Adam on the internet. But one thing that I love about Adam is that he's a really amazing dad. And he has 3 young children. Well, they're not young anymore. Oh my God, I'm so old. But when I met Adam, they were young. One of them just got married last week. And they're really incredible people. They're sensitive, they're outgoing, they're extremely intelligent, they're really sweet, and I admire that about him. I think he's a really fabulous dad.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in Firefly. And maybe at the cocktail party.
Perfect. Are you going to be dressed like this? Please say yes. Please. You bought a tuxedo? You're kind of amazing. I love it. Hi.
Okay, everybody knows about Firefly, but we'll forget that. What would you say, so what would be your pick? Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh my God.
Feel free to plead the fifth on this one if you want to.
Well, this is the kind of thing where I can never say the right thing. Like I'm going to upset somebody. Oh, that's so hard. Okay, Star Trek.
Yeah. Kirk or Picard?
Oh, come on, man! Archer.
So, which Kirk?
I'm gonna say Picard just because I love Patrick as a person. You guys met Patrick Stewart? He's rad. He's awesome. He's everything you'd want him to be. Trust me. Hi.
What's your favorite quote?
My favorite quote, like in life?
Yeah.
Live well to live long. I made it up.
And now you will be forever quoted.
It's a good one. Life's short, man. Do what makes you happy. That's what I say.
Hi, sorry.
Hi. No, it's okay. This is the best.
I would just wanted to know, like, with your history with sci-fi, have you always loved sci-fi, or is it something you've grown to love, or do you just hate doing it?
No, I don't. I was never really a fan of sci-fi specifically. I just like good stories. So sometimes it's sci-fi related and sometimes it's not. My favorite movie of all time is Contact, and that's pretty sci-fi if you ask me. I love that movie. Have you guys seen that movie? Contact with Jodie Foster? It's the best. It's the best. But yeah, I think what I was not prepared for and had no idea about was the fan following of the sci-fi genre. So the fact that these conventions go on literally all over the world, like in tiny towns, you wouldn't believe where I've been, is amazing to me. There's just such a culture. And what's funny is that I've come to realize that meeting the actors from the shows, that's just sort of like the cherry on the top, but that's not why you're here. You're here to be around the people that are like-minded, that are like you, your friends that you've met through a passion of something that you love. And that's an amazing thing. It's really cool to see and to feel like I'm a part of it. Thank you. You ask great questions. I hope you're not sitting too far away, because that's like a long walk. Okay.
So we've got time probably for one more question. Maybe two if it's a short answer.
Maybe two. I'll talk really fast.
G'day.
Hi.
So, Firefly's been off the air for about 12, 13 years now, yet still cosplays.
Yes.
People petitioning for a season, another season there.
Yes.
What would you say, in your words, what was the lightning? What made Firefly work?
I think you know, part of what I said before, that it's about to me it's not really a sci-fi show. I know that sounds silly to say, but it's about a family. It's about a group of people that are stuck together that learn to love and protect each other, and it's about the relationships more than anything else. I think the fact that we live on a spaceship is just circumstantial, as silly as that sounds. But there was so much more to it than that. And you know, one of the lines I love the most in the movie, in Serenity, was at the end when Mal is talking about the rules of flying, and talks about love. And he says it's just about love. And why has it become this fanatic sort of fandom over the years and seems to have grown, and you know, the fans are now passing it on to their children, which is amazing, and it just seems to go on and on. I don't know. Maybe everybody's connecting to that love. I don't know. I don't want to question it. I just want to keep riding the wave. You know what I mean? That was short. Hi.
Hey again. Even after all these years of being in TV shows and movies, do you still find it hard, awkward, unusual if you see yourself on TV, if you see
Yes.
yourself in the movies? Do you find yourself get overly critical of...
I have to get a bit drunk.
Oh.
No, it's like, because you can't help but be critical, and it sucks. I wish it wasn't that way, but you can't help but nitpick and go, oh, I hate when I do that with my mouth. Or, I don't know, something stupid, right? I wish I could have done that scene over again, or whatever. But that's the only way you learn. So you have to sit and watch it. And I hear, you know, of these actors that literally never watch their stuff.
Jack
like
Palance.
my friend Johnny Depp here. Never ever watches anything that he does. To me, that's crazy. I mean, as much as it makes me uncomfortable, I feel like that's part of my job. That's the only way I'll ever learn and get better. But it's very weird. It's a very, very weird thing. Sometimes it all depends on the show. Sometimes I can get lost in it and just kind of enjoy and sort of ignore myself and just watch everybody else. But, you know, as actors, we're a sensitive bunch and can't help but be critical of ourselves a little bit. Thank you. Nice questions, you guys. Well done.
So for those of you who suddenly thought of a great question you wanted to ask, drive down to Wellington next weekend, come down to my hometown.
It's a short drive, right?
It's only 6.5 hours.
It's nothing.
Bit longer at the moment with the traffic. But Tauranga, please, put your hands together.
Thank you so much.
Cool stuff. If you're a fan of DC Legends of Tomorrow, stick around because we're going to be joined